When we first meet Jane Bodine in Our Brandis Crisis, she's someone who has had to remove herself from the world that she'd spent most of her life in for sake of survival. She's someone who used to be brilliant at her job, but it was like an addiction to her, and what it turned her into and the mindset it gave her was incredibly dangerous. She's fragile. She's has some instability issues. All of those just became exacerbated when she was in that world, and she couldn't stop. Pat Candy is who is dangled as a carrot. Pat Candy, played by Billy Bob Thornton, and he being Jane's ultimate rival, and also the one predominantly responsible for her demise in her career and her instability. He was the reason that she basically had to leave and isolate herself. So once he's dangled by Ann Dowd's character as the carrot to get back in, it ignites that addictive behavior, and she can't say no. It comes from the degree of chaos that she creates in her quest for the win. She doesn't care how she gets the win as long as she wins, and she will use any tactic that she needs to in order to do it. Castillo's very arrogant, elitist, entitled. He wasn't, born in poverty. He was born with great affluence. So he's hard to relate to, and he comes with such an elitist attitude. He doesn't think that he needs to find humility. Only this candidate, Castillo, can sell it, that this is a crisis and they need a fighter. They need a wartime leader who could come in and fight for the people, attack back, and take care of the people that deserve to be taken care of. So she uses what seems to be his weaknesses initially as a campaign strength. And I think that's where these consultants are brilliant. They're ad execs. How do you take something that is looked at as a weakness and turn it into something that you want to buy? Give the people something they don't think they need, and then sell it to them. I don't think there's a word that's been invented for Billy Bob yet, because he has something that I don't think I've ever seen anyone else have. He just transforms. Like you meet him and then you see him on screen and you just go, when did that happen? When did he blossom into that? And the mischievousness and the evil and the sexiness and the power that he has, again, very much like a politician, but he doesn't have to pretend to be anything other than he is, which is the nice juxtaposition between his character and the Castillo character. Zoe, who plays LeBlanc in the movie, who is my right-hand woman, you see her and she looks angelic. She looks like she's all 10. She's innocent looking. She just is collegiate. She's just smart, quiet, maybe a little mousy, which is what makes her so brilliant at finding out all the dirty information that you would trust her with the worst information, never assuming that she's using it to turn around and hit back at you. And that's what was so great about that casting, is that you would never see her as the person whose job it is to dig up the worst possible material on another human being and use it against them. He is a moral compass. He doesn't realize it until the end, because he's on his way to being one of them. He's really smart. He's very ethical, but he feels he knows that world, but he doesn't really until, I'd say, the end of the film. And he strikes a balance. He's like, I know we have to do this, but it is about the people. I know it's about the people, but we have to keep cognizant that this is an election, it's a business. So he's the middleman, the one that's sort of the scales, and he's trying to keep them balanced. He came with such an understanding of the story he wanted to tell, and it matched and enhanced and made better anything that I had in my head. And he was always calm. And that I so appreciate, because I want so much, and I get spun out and I don't sleep and I don't, and turns out David is the same way, but he does it calmly. So I knew that was the person that I wanted to sort of be by my side in what I knew was going to be a very tough shoot. It is a role like no other. And it allowed me to do things and to play a tone and do something different. You know, you can't repeat anything that you've ever done before, nor should you. You should do things that are just scary and frightening. And oddly, that's what the film is about, you know. Some people have to do some things that are very frightening for the greater good. And this one scared the bejesus out of me. But I knew that this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Again, I keep having them. But I keep looking for them, too. So, you know, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to get dirty. Not afraid to mess up. But I'm very grateful for it.